All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the October 19th live stream, or as it's called by some, the Circus of Lies. I would like to welcome Damonkey from, I'm sure he's watching this, and probably Ed as well. So welcome to those guys. But I right now on stage, we have Blarg, Ook, and Tuna Man. Oh, sorry, shoot. I did send a kind of list of the various different things that we can talk about for this week. Things kind of kind of blew up a little bit when I made a response to the monkey, his comments. Oh, shoot. Do you guys hear that buzzing? No? Okay.
Not coming to anyone else.
Okay, great. So they're kind of I sent a multiple different things that we can discuss. So we can kind of go through it, but if any of you guys want to veer off or bring up anything else, we can definitely do that. So the first question that, or the topic that I wanted to bring up was in regard to the video I had put up about the origin story of this channel. And in response to that, we got the monkey saying that, or claiming that this whole channel was created just to attack him. Let me see if I can find that particular comment. It should be easy to find. I need to share. Okay, so here he says, he says a lot of things. Okay. I thought this, oh yeah. So here, oh, I guess I need to make this a little bit bigger. Here he says, and this is him talking about why he will never debate me. And he says a lot of things about that, but he's saying that I made this entire channel dedicated to attacking him. Apparently he didn't actually watch the video I had made describing the origin story. It is true that it kind of started with me making this so that it's easier to respond to him when he was challenging everyone, pretty much everyone at the time, to an IRL debate, in real life debate. And he was doing that. I think it was very clear that he was doing that just to kind of bully people, to for him to be able to just say whatever he wanted, and then if there's pushback, to say, okay, well then I'll debate you. Let's get on a debate. I'll arrange it. And he kept on doing that. And personally, I don't know about you guys, but I at the time didn't want to debate someone like him. I knew what a shit show that was going to be if I ever did debate him. But it was getting very annoying because, as you saw in the video I made, he was pretty much challenging everyone. So I eventually said, okay, well then if that's the case, I will debate you. And then as soon as I said that, he pretty much ran away. He just started making excuses. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think like at one point he was kind of trying to say that what he meant was that, debating in the comments, which a lot of the theists, the Christians, theists do. They just say, well, what I mean was debating in the comments. But he explicitly said in real life debates, and he said he had debated people in real life, atheists in real life, dozens. So when I accepted his challenge and he kind of tried to get away, I wanted to create this a forum where we could easily have this debate, and that's where I created this channel. But once he kind of stopped responding, I didn't really keep pursuing him because it was getting sort of tedious, just trying to get him to admit that he's afraid to debate me. So that's where I set up this channel. And in fact, the first person who got on this channel was actually Florida. And so that's how this channel started. And frankly, I wasn't expecting this to be like a weekly thing. It was just going to be, okay, I'll use this to debate every once in a while, whoever, accepts a debate. But, just because you guys were, very supportive of coming on with me and having these discussions, I've made a weekly thing. But it definitely wasn't to, quote unquote, attack Monkey.
I think it's just funny that he thinks it's all about him. But yeah, you've done a fantastic job, and I personally think it's the godlings are getting upset because you have this platform. If they really want to debate, or not even a debate, just a chat about their whatever god they believe in, come over. You're right. By making this channel, you have basically calling the bluff of every single troll out there, and I think you bloody good job.
What's a little funny?
Yeah, go ahead.
What's a little funny is about that video that you put up. I just had a look. It's somewhere around 360 views currently, but up over 800 comments. And you go, now those are some good engagement numbers. That's a good.
So it definitely hit,
rate.
Yeah, it definitely hit the most comments of any of the content I have up there by far. I think the closest in terms of number of comments was I think around like 600 comments. The one that I'm just trying to find it, or maybe it's not even 600. Oh yeah, it is. The one where Steve got on and was talking about slavery, that had like 689 comments, and until now that was the one with the most comments. And the second most is the one that the live stream where Ed was on.
There is something seriously wrong with his mind. The whole point, you saw when I posted the first post I ever that started my file on Ed. He basically, I'm going to prove that evolution is false and that therefore a creator must have done it. That's the whole argument he comes with, and it's bollocks. It's just ridiculous. Even if you prove all evolution, all our knowledge that we've got wrong, you still don't get to slot a god in as an explanation. It's crazy.
Well, and because he knows that it's indefensible, he doesn't say that the creator is God. He does everything he can to avoid that. He just wants to say that naturalistic explanation is impossible. Therefore, there's an intelligent designer, but he's not going to go beyond that because he knows he can't defend that next step.
What is it? She must be a babe. Said last night that he's because he loves who is it? The Chua or Tura. That yeah, he's a tourist. But if you look at all I went through and had a look at the entire 3 debates that Tua had done, and it's exactly the same, almost word for word, except for the yelling part. Ed yells a bit more than Tua does, but he's copying the whole thing, including the mistakes that Tua makes.
Did you see him screaming at Professor Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does plenty of yelling.
Yeah. No, I mean,
yes.
Ed yells more than Tua. So Yeah, I mean, you get a platform like Professor Dave's, he goes on there, makes a complete ass of himself, comes over here and does the same thing. It's like children holding their breath or beating on the walls until they get attention.
But you know, when Ed watches something like that, as well as others of, you know, who are Tour's followers, they think that Tour won. You know, they think, well, you know, Professor Dave couldn't go to the chalkboard, so you know, Dr. Tour won. You know, that's their viewpoint.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how things go down the path with the accusations that are being sort of levelled against Tour for his sort of academic misconduct by forcing other people to put his name on papers and threatening their careers if they don't.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
caught some of that. Oh, just because we're talking chemical reactions and whatnot. What's people's feeling of bringing back the thylacine, the Tasmanian Tiger, because they just about got the whole genome mapped. So my problem is, if you bring back an extinct animal that it's been extinct for what, 100 years or so more, how's it going to know to be a Tasmanian tiger? And what are you going to do with it? You can't sort of put it back into the wild because the ecology's changed.
No, maybe.
Yeah, it's a
because
tricky one.
they get that with
Sorry, I derailed. Q, if you want to put that to later. Sorry, derailed the whole show by bringing that one up.
No, that's fine.
they have wolves being reintroduced to areas where they were essentially no longer extinct from that area, and it has significant improvements in the local ecology, being that they were acting as a sort of a keystone species that helped maintain the balance. So the balance has gone out of whack, and then put them back in, and all of a sudden things start to look different. Like you put the wolves back in Yellowstone, and all of a sudden you get the beavers come back, and you get the waterways start to look like what they used to look like. And yeah, it has significant flow-on effects. There's an increase in birds, an increase in insects, which is just bizarre. You wouldn't think that would be the case. But increase in bears even, because the bears rely upon wolves.
Yeah, it's I just got a strange thing, because mainland Australia, they've been extinct for God knows how long, but a lot before the white men came here. But in Tasmania, yeah, I just find it. I'd like to know a little bit more. All this bring back an extinct animal is sort of like,
I think there's definitely danger because, I mean, humans have kind of, you know, gotten involved in trying to, you know, kind of affect the ecology of things, and it doesn't always work out well. You know, when they, especially when they introduce species that are essentially foreign to that ecology, and you know, in a sense, you know, even though the Tasmanian devil was part of the ecology for a while, it hasn't been for a long time. So we don't necessarily know what that impact is going to be.
Yeah, and I never really worried about that sort of ethical question with cloning, but to bring something back from total extinction, I just wonder the reasons why. It's I'm trying to put it into words. It's I'm not worried about a Jurassic Park type bullshit. I'd like to know more, and it's never worried me before, but we've never had the technology to actually do it by the end of the decade. to have a
There are
real
pretty good.
long.
There are pretty good fenced enclosure areas. So the Tassie tigers were also endemic to the mainland until the dingoes were introduced somewhere around 3,000 years ago. We sort of wiped them off the mainland, but there are some really nicely enclosed areas where they could introduce the thylacines that wouldn't put them into the sort of general population because they'd be too valuable. Anyway, you
Yeah.
wouldn't want, for example, some town dogs to get there and tear, kill one of your thylacines after all the effort it went to create them.
Yeah, the what they've done with the bilby, made cat-free areas and fenced off and everything. It's just sort of, yeah, none of the biologists or scientists or whoever who involved in the thylacine project they've never been asked those questions. What are you going to do with it after it? Yeah. And I think it's going to be very hard to bring them back onto the mainland. Tasmania, an island, yeah, okay, that's manageable. But yeah, it's like the woolly mammoth. Yeah, make a woolly mammoth, but then there's no habitat for it anymore. They don't have the huge glacial grass plains anymore.
By the way, so
Yeah.
Crystal she said she just Googled James Tour investigation and discovered he's been accused of plagiarism too. So we also know someone who's pretty good about plagiarism, don't we? So so the funny thing that he had said about plagiarizing, I think this was maybe yesterday, where he said that a block quote doesn't need to be quoted or doesn't need to have quote marks. And I said something about that's true. You just need kind of other ways to say that it's quote, there's a quoted material. And he quoted himself saying that a block quote doesn't need to be a quote, and replied to me and said, "Oh, thanks for agreeing with me." It's like he didn't quote what I said and said that thanks for agreeing with me. He quoted what he said and said thanks for agreeing with me. So he
Well,
can't
he
even
agreed
like
with himself.
plagiarize correctly. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Just saying, well, he certainly agrees with himself.
Yeah, he does. The thing he doesn't get about this block quote thing is that, yeah, you can have like a block of quote, and you don't need to put a quote marks around it, but you need to have some indicator that it's a quote and and it can't look exactly like the rest of the paragraphs that you've written, because you can't tell that it's a quote. So it's like that basic concept just escapes him, because both these guys, Ed and Monkey, they are so ingrained in like trying to find ways to prove that they are not wrong, that they just like completely not see some of these very basic things.
Well, you don't have to use quotation marks. You can put it in
Yeah.
italics or whatever.
Yep.
But if you're going to use someone else's work, at least be ethical enough to, even if you can't remember who said it, at least let people know it's not your own thoughts.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a great one there from Donkey yesterday, where he when we were giving him grief about the metabolism of salt from a previous bit of dumb shit that he talked about, he put up a quote saying metabolism is everything, basically. So trying to basically say that metabolism is everything that the entire body does is metabolism, and didn't put any attribute to that. So I did a search for that particular quote, and it comes out of some school some material for homeschooling
Hang on, bloke.
of children.
Hang on, bloke.
So
We've got Damon
yeah.
Kenny. You see him? He's in the comments. Post a link, Q.
It's funny. I mean, he must not have been there when I began the whole stream by welcoming him and Ed, because I knew that they were going to be on. So here they are. That's hilarious. So I, if Monkey wants to get on, or I can just give him the link if he wants, which I'm sure he won't. But the reason I brought up this, where he says this thing, where Schroedinger said, yeah, and he's quoting Schroedinger here, so he's attributing this. So he's not claiming that he's the one that's saying it. He says, Erwin Schrödinger said, living matter evades the decay to equilibrium death. He doesn't say that. I couldn't find anywhere where he says that. He says something different, and this is kind of a summarization of what Schrödinger is saying, but Schrödinger did not say that. Here's what he said instead. So this is from the book What is Life? He said, how does the living organism avoid decay? The obvious answer is by eating, drinking, breathing, and in cases of plants, assimilating. The technical term is called metabolism. So what he quoted there really isn't, I mean, I'm not even sure what he was trying to say here. Because all this says is that a cell is essentially like it is going against entropy, right? It's a negative entropy machine. So if it doesn't do that, if it doesn't use energy to stop entropy, it would die. And that's basically what this means, that a living matter has to use energy to keep the cell from decaying, keep entropy from causing a death. And that's what all this means. So I'm not even sure why he brought this up when we were talking about life, but it's funny that he thinks he's quoting something and it's not even the quote.
Yes, I wonder if he realises that actually Lugh and I are Australians and not.
Well, he's also an
sort of
Aussie,
fake.
so right?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think so. Basically, he thinks anyone who was born in the 60s is a living fossil, as far as I can work out. Yeah, because he flat out accused me of not being Australian. Because no Australian he knows talks like me. And I must be from the 60s. Fucking duh.
Oh, actually, I do remember why this came up. This came up when this whole discussion of metabolizing salt, right? Monkey thinks that life metabolizes salt. And when we're talking about metabolizing, it basically is that
Sorry, what?
it's say again? Oh,
I just was doing something else and I went, what? Light, sunlight? Is he talking about sunlight? Metabolism? Sorry, I did go back.
no. Okay. So he thinks salt gets metabolized, and when we talk about metabolizing, we basically means basically getting chemical energy, like by breaking down things like starch and protein, etc. Where when you break down those chemical bonds, you get energy. So that's what metabolism is. You don't get energy by metabolizing, quote unquote, metabolizing salt. Salt is definitely part of the machinery that does the metabolism within the cell. It's necessary for a lot of the cellular processes, but the salt itself is not metabolized, not in that sense. So I think he was bringing up that whole Schrödinger thing just to say that, oh no, it's actually according to Schrödinger, life metabolizes salt. I think that's what he was trying to get at. Who knows?
Oh, life metabolite, not light. Ah, that's right, I got it wrong. Cool.
Yeah, no, he was
Okay.
he provided a quote from somewhere that said something about metabolism isn't combustion. It's all this other stuff. But that particular quote came from an online school kid resource. He didn't attribute it. I went and had a look, see if I could find that particular quote, and that's where I found it. It was something for school kids. For that
You don't have
particular
the
quote,
link, do you?
I'm looking for it.
Okay.
I'll get back to you.
Yeah. So the quote that he gave is basically, he found something on Wiki, and he's just, giving that, because that's how he probably understands everything, just by looking at the Wiki.
Yes, the site is called. Hang on, I'm live. Yeah. Okay. The site that he's after is called homework.study.com.
Oh, can you paste a link?
Yeah, I'll grab it.
Well, that reminds me, like the other thing that he did, right, where he was giving the definition of the categorical imperative, and it was from like a grammar site where it was the before sentence before it gets corrected. So that was kind of funny. I don't see a monkey responding to that. I wonder if he has anything to say about how his attempts to quotes are so horrible. And he keeps on giving What is Life, Chapter 6, section Living Matter Evades Decay to Equilibrium. Yeah, that's he gives a title chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've got a platform here where we're actually talking. If Damon won't join the live chat, I don't see why we should actually have him spamming in the comments, trolling in the comments.
Yeah, he definitely, if you see something where he says abusive things or things that really don't have any.
Cool.
Yeah, just go ahead and delete the comments. I've already deleted one of them where it's.
Oh no, I mean not on the comments on the video, in the comments on the side of the chat now.
The live chat. Yeah, you can you can delete stuff where he's saying stupid things.
Okay, I'll keep an eye on it. All right, I'll shut up again.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's the link, the second one, not the first. The homework.study.com. That's the place where he got his quote from, but didn't put any attribution to it.
If I can't remember a quote, or if I don't know where it was, I'll say to paraphrase or something, and still put it in italics or something like that, just so that people know it's not my own words. I'm very careful about that because the brothers at school, they were quite happy to if you use the wrong punctuation marks, you got hit. If you used American spelling, you got hit. Some things can be beaten into you.
By the way, so Google now has this AI overview that comes out, and it's basically just kind of a generative AI trying to synthesize the what's out there. You don't want to always rely on the AI overview like a certain Apot. I'm trying to get to this link, but it's not giving me the link for some reason. Is this it? I don't know why it's not giving me the link here. Maybe it's because I'm sharing the. If it's sharing, maybe it's not letting me go to it. So it looks like Monkey ran away because we were not letting him just say stupid, insulting things. And that's all he lives for, right? I don't know what's going
Yeah,
on.
if he's not calling people names, he's not living.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had to remove Paul Yates from the chat. Blarg will know why. He's the fellow who's very bad autistic, and yeah, it's not a platform for someone with.
Yeah, right. He's Nathaniel Yates.
Yeah.
He's 28 or 9 or something in that range. Severely autistic fellow.
Yeah, he came on and I just, don't need to punch down that low. It's ridiculous. All right, sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, no worries. Okay. I think I did. Oh, I can't. I have to be a member to unlock that a particular message, but I guess you don't have to like go into it. So this is what you mean, right, Blarg? Whoops. This is from that homework.study.com place. Combustion reactions take place in the body, are involved in digestion, cell division, and what's the answer? One of these: digestion, cell division, metabolism, respiration. A and D only.
So if you scroll down a bit, it just gives a little bit of an explanation about each of the things. I think they're.
It's, well, it's like hiding stuff because I'm not a.
Just says
I'm not
answer
a
an.
member.
Well, neither am I. But answer an explanation. It's hidden in that. I can see a section called answer an explanation where that tick is.
I don't know. Maybe it's like a regional thing.
Just hide that. Can you hide that box that's covering that? Just hit the little X on the corner there and make it go away.
Oh, where's the little X? This
is in the corner there. Oh, hang on, it disappeared. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I can't close this.
Oh, okay, that's weird. Oh, it might be because of I'm using a VPN. So, but anyhow, in under there, it has those questions, and then the quote that he took out was section C. Metabolism used to describe all chemical reactions involved in maintaining the living state of organisms, thus is not a combustion reaction. That's the specific quote.
Oh, I see.
That he posted into it without attribution,
Okay.
which is fine for school kids. There's no nuance in there. There's no none of the rest of what's included. What's the sort of important part. But this is not a serious sort of scientific journal. It's for school kids. And it's perfectly adequate for school kids. But when I went and said, okay, well, let's see what adults have to say about this. So
it's not technically a combustion. Combustion and metabolism are technically not identical, but they are very similar. They both oxidizes the chemical bonds and gives you energy.
Yeah, it also sometimes some definitions of metabolism also include the processes that get rid of waste, and maintain some things, but also break down molecules that are used to construct other things. Part of the sort of can be included in metabolism, but aren't always. But the fact is that salt doesn't meet any of those criteria because it is not chemically sort of reacted on to create. So sodium chloride is not chemically reacted on to create anything per se it doesn't deliver any energy. It is a waste product that exists and we get rid of. But yeah, it's important, in fact vital, but yeah, it's a very low energy state, so so you can't break it up and get energy out of it.
Yeah, I mean, to Steelman his position, you could include metabolism to include kind of building up cellular components, in which case, you do incorporate different salts, as part of your kind of cellular machinery, and that's kind of what I was meant before. So it gets used, but it doesn't get directly metabolized.
Yeah, but the salt itself isn't getting used. It's just the ions that are in there.
Yeah.
So it's the sodiums and the chlorides get used as
But that's
dissociated
technically the
ions.
salt, right? So
Yeah.
all right. So so the other thing, I don't know if you want to talk about Apot's comment about the alpha and omega. I don't know if it's worthwhile getting into that. This whole discussion of if you say alpha and omega, it's not the same as the Ouroboros, because the Ouroboros forms a circle and not the beginning and the end. So anyway,
I will admit he completely lost me on that one. It's sort of like, what the fuck, alpha and omega? Fuck off in nature.
I'm not even sure what point he was trying to drive at by saying that. Yeah.
It sort of, I looked at that and just went, fuck, he's having another psychotic break. God. Yeah, that weird.
Yeah.
But I don't understand with Apot is why he keeps saying he's not Christian.
Oh my God.
But he keeps referring to the Bible.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I think he's got to be just trolling, right? To
Actually,
say that he's not a Christian.
I don't know, because this Ouroboros thing also connects into that. So essentially says he's not a Christian. I think is he the one referring to himself as a panentheist?
Yeah, yeah.
But he's 99% Christian with a bit of sort of new age bullshit smeared on top of it. So that's where the Ouroboros comes from. So he gets everything he wants out of the Bible and then adds some of his own flavor of special sauce on top of that, and then he's not a Christian. Yeah. So that's why this makes no sense, because he's trying to incorporate two different things that don't connect to each other.
I don't think he's even trying to incorporate it. I think he's just, it's kind of like a get out of jail card, when people kind of press him on how bad Christianity is, then he can just say, well, I'm not a Christian. You're wrong.
Yes,
that kind of thing.
That does help.
Yeah. I think that's why he's doing it.
Fun and aside, a related connection, the alpha and omega thing that you quite often get Christians going, nobody else is claiming to be the alpha and the omega, and you go, well, who gives a crap about what is being claimed in the Bible? But anyhow, prior to the Christians claiming it, the Zoroastrians did that. So they got that concept actually out of Zoroastrianism. So cop that, Christians.
Yeah, it's not even a Christian thing,
Yeah, it's found in the Avesta.
Yeah.
So they don't use alpha and omega, but essentially alpha and omega just means first and last in Greek. So first and last is used in the translation of the Avesta.
All right. The next topic I had was, and I don't know, again, I'm not sure how interested you guys are in rehashing this thing, but this whole ontological and epistemological thing. And someone actually, hold on. Someone actually kind of made a comment and interest. It's kind of this Joseph M7447, basically, like, what difference does it make? Who cares? Whether it's epistemological or whether it's ontological. And this whole thing started with this whole question of the ontological proof of God, that within the critique of pure reason, Kant's critique of pure reason, he talks about how all these kind of bad proofs of God, like, the teleological proof, the moral proof, and the ontological proof. And he goes to kind of debunking each one of those, because for Kant, you can't prove God because God is not in the phenomenal realm. He's in the noumena, assuming he exists. And so you can't have direct knowledge of God. And so he's kind of critiquing these proofs to say that, it's not, it can't be done. And so for the ontological proof, his famous comment was that existence is not a predicate, meaning that it's not a property that you assign to something. It's a kind of a state description of things. The state is the existential state. So you can have a perfect God that exists and a perfect God that doesn't exist. So um, adding the quote unquote property, the existential state, doesn't change anything else about all the other properties. So um, so that's where Kant was going, and the whole discussion was that the categories, which is to understand the ontology of things, is not itself an ontology. It's not an ontological principle, even though it says ontological predicate. So that's what Monkey isn't understanding. All he's seeing is that, oh, it says ontological predicate, so it must be ontological. So that's where, in terms of what difference it makes, it makes a difference when we're talking about God. So that's what I was saying. But he didn't seem to get it. The other thing I wanted to mention was, like, and I can't bring it up, but one of the comments that Monkey had made was that, oh, that I have a, I don't know what I'm talking about because I have a third grader level of, understanding of philosophy. And when he says that, he's essentially, kind of responding to or, insults, I guess, that he gets all the time, where people point out that he has a very low understanding of things, low cognition, etc. And so he just turns that around by saying, "No, you," and so he will kind of once he gets these kind of insults, he tries to turn it back on everyone. Essentially, as Aaron Massa is saying, is that he's just projecting. And so, because he said that, I did go and mention that this person, GWF Hegel, did specifically comment on my point, and he did agree with me. So, but the point I was trying to make is that I pointed out that here is someone who is not a third grade philosopher. He is someone with a PhD who does agree with me, and me using this as an argument against his point that I have a third grader philosophy understanding, I don't think it's appeal to authority. So that was what I was trying to say. But from Monkey's point of view, he thinks appealing to anyone of authority is an appeal to authority fallacy. For example, if someone would happen to appeal to Schroedinger, that would be an appeal to authority fallacy, right? Which he seems okay with.
Yeah. Well, technically, yeah. Anytime you appeal to a person and say, and the argument is this person says it's correct, therefore it's correct, it's an appeal to authority. But
in this case,
yeah.
I'm not saying that my argument is correct. My argument is correct because of this PhD person. I'm just saying that I'm not, I'm not saying my argument is correct because I have a third grader understanding of philosophy, because we have this other person who has more than a third grader understanding of philosophy who agrees with me.
Yeah, no. Remember what I was saying about when a person uses an appeal to authority, you can use an ad hominem, which is not a fallacious argument, then to attack the credentials of the person who is being held up as that authority. That's not a fallacious argumentation to do that. In this case, Monkey has gone and started with the ad hominem by calling you a third grader, and then you've gone and added the you've run that in reverse. So he started with the ad hominem, so you've added the appeal to authority, which isn't fallacious here, because it's referencing the ad hominem.
I'm not arguing my point. I'm arguing his ad hominem.
Yes, that's exactly right. You're arguing his ad hominem.
Right.
So which then is not a fallacious argument.
Yep. And when Monkey brings up Schrodinger and we say, well, Schrodinger is not a biologist, that's not necessarily an ad hominem, right?
No, it is definitely an ad hominem, because you are addressing the source of the information, not the information itself. So
No, but I thought
ad
you were
hominem
saying that it's. Oh, are you just saying that it's acceptable to do an ad hominem if the other person pulls out an
has,
authority?
yes, if a person holds up an authority, you can do an ad hominem against that authority. So it's not a fallacious argument, because you're attacking the argument that the person is. So the argument being made is that this person is an expert, therefore you should listen to what they say. So you can go along and say, sorry, but that person is not. So you can attack the person directly, because you're not attacking them just based upon just calling them an idiot or something. Yeah, that's the reason. It's not fallacious, because it's
So
addressing the specific argument.
you are saying that it's okay to call out Schrodinger not being a biologist,
Oh
right?
yes, oh yes, that's exactly right. But you can also call out, for example, I said, if, for example, Einstein, a quote from Einstein was used to talk about physics, and he's pretty well accepted as the sort of preeminent sort of person on physics, certainly in his era. But you can then go and attack him as well on that, because the fact of the matter is, and the reason that an appeal to authority is pretty well always a fallacious argument, is because every person can be wrong, even in their area of expertise. So saying this person says it's true, therefore it's true, is a fallacious argument. So even Einstein saying it's true is still a fallacious argument, still an appeal to authority. Worse than an appeal to authority is an appeal to false authority, which is exactly what Donkey's doing with his Schrodinger in biology quote, that Schrodinger's not a noted biologist, so he's not even an authority on biology, let alone an
And
authority
also,
generally.
appealing to an expert is not an appeal to authority. Like if someone says, the best way to do surgery is to just cut the limbs off, any damaged limbs off. And if you say, well, this surgeon says that that's not what you should do, that's not an appeal to authority.
Well, it is still technically an appeal to authority.
Well, it's not an appeal to authority fallacy, kind of like, you can have ad hominem, but it's not an ad hominem fallacy unless you're, doing it to support your argument.
Yeah, the place where you can make an appeal to authority that is most definitely not fallacious is where you're appealing to a consensus of authorities on a topic that's complex. So surgery, for example, surgeons do it a particular way, not just necessarily one surgeon, but surgeons generally do things a particular way. Surgery is a complex topic, so we'll follow what the consensus would do, because they have a broad knowledge of the topic, and they also have the ability to synthesize sort of all of the relevant information from the whole field and come to that consensus. So while that consensus can still be wrong, there's no better source of information than basically the consensus. So
because in a certain sense, it's not, you're not appealing to that person's personal opinions, right? You're appealing to them to provide data.
Yeah, you're appealing to their understanding of all of the nuances, all of the complexity of the field, all of the components of the field. It's one of the problems. So for example, if we're talking about evolution, like the field of evolution, there's an enormous number of scientists involved in that, and the consensus of those scientists have within that sphere have pretty well the entirety of evolution's. Everything that's known about evolution is within the grasp of that group, or close enough to it. So their understanding of the evidence is going to be higher than it's possible for any person who's, where you're trying to synthesize complicated data. You just can't do it without that depth of knowledge. So yeah, it's reasonable then to appeal to that consensus on that topic. Whereas if it's something really simple that is easy to understand, then yeah, you wouldn't do that. You just go straight to the evidence itself.
Yeah.
It's like the consensus is gender is a social term. It doesn't relate to biological sex. You appeal to the consensus, and that's you got to be, especially people like who like to argue with bloody Damonkey, Apot, and who's the other twit? Edith.
Steve?
And Steve. Yeah. All you can do is say the consensus is, and yes, it will change if new information comes in. It's like what 50 years ago we thought, sex and gender were the same thing. Now we've realised, nope, it's a lot more nuanced than that. And it's not just one field of scientific study that's confirmed this, it's across several. So the same thing as Lugh said with evolution, it is the consensus among scientists and across various fields that have helped build our understanding of evolution. I don't like to use single authority figures. I prefer to go with the consensus. That was just something that was also beaten into me at school. They did a good job, those brothers.
It is one of the reasons why quoting from primary sources, so from peer-reviewed journal articles, is an accepted source, because what you're looking at there is essentially, in a lot of cases, consensus publication. So the person writes their paper, they put their data or information into it, and then people from the field evaluate that before it goes for publication, and then it gets reviewed, and lots of people make comments on it if there's errors and stuff later on as well. So stuff that's coming out of peer-reviewed papers is a way of accessing some of that consensus. It can definitely go wrong, though. You can have crappy little journals that have basically no oversight, or they just publish whatever someone pays them to publish. So you got to watch for that. So it is worth looking at higher ranked journals, because they're less likely to engage in that behavior.
So it Miranda had just posted this about they can't see how changing understanding based on new information is a strength and not a weakness. I wanted to use that to talk about this post I had made about what I think is a pathological need for Monkey and Ed to essentially just lie. They can't admit to wrong. So, like that whole thing with Monkey, basically, he had referred to the quote as coming from the Critique of Pure Judgment. Sorry, Critique of Pure Reason. And, I kept on I was trying to get him to make a bet that that quote is not from the Critique of Pure Reason. But eventually it was obvious that it came from the Critique of Pure Judgment because he kind of quietly changed the references so that he started saying Critique of Pure Judgment. But he could have just easily said, yeah, I was wrong. I made a little error. It's not a big deal, but it was an error. But he absolutely would not admit to that. He kept on saying, no, I got it right. I had it right. I was quoting the right book. And at one point he was saying that, well, the Critique of Judgment comes after the Critique of Pure Reason. So it's part of that whole series. So therefore, when I said it was Critique of Pure Reason, it is same as saying critique. I mean, just like this mental gymnastics just to avoid saying that he was wrong about something that was pretty trivial. And I think it is something pathological, right? I see that with both Monkey and with Ed.
Oh yeah, they definitely cannot admit to being wrong about anything ever. Just impossible. Just saying they're absolutely incapable of ever admitting they're wrong about anything whatsoever. They just carefully edit it later on.
Yeah, it's like the question that I ask quite often is, could you be wrong? Because that's one of those things that a lot of theists like to throw back at non-believers is, oh, could you be wrong? And your answer should be yes, I can. If you give me enough evidence, yeah, I'll change my mind. I'll admit, fuck, sorry, stuffed up there.
Well, I did have that.
They can't do that. They won't do it. Even Ed, I asked him on the live stream, could you be wrong? No. Pointless talking to someone if they can't admit they could be wrong.
I did have that problem during the week with this specific topic, as probably most of you saw. I made a note that the quote that Monkey was using wasn't written by Kant. It was written by the translator as a part of the introduction to the translation of Kant. And from the so that's what I wrote, and QC had a look and went, "Oh no, you're right. I think you've made a mistake there." And so I went and had a look at what I've done there, and the situation was that the copy of Kant's Critique of Pure Reason that I was reading from did not contain the editor or the translator's introduction section. It was completely missing from it. So I looked in the title of the book was that Critique of Pure Reason with an introduction by translated by and with an introduction by the translator. So I went to the section that said introduction, and that was the place that the quote came from. Unbeknownst to me, there was a missing section, which was the translator's introduction. Yes, I went and found another copy of that book online and found the translator's section and go, yes, I see it there now. So yeah, had to accept that I was wrong there, knowing full well that Damonkey would then go along and yeah, we saw what he did.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, you know, you didn't go and delete all those comments where, you know, you made that wrong statement. You went and actually, like, struck it out to demonstrate that it was wrong, but kept the comment so that, you know, it doesn't look like you were hiding it. And then from Monkey's point of view, he thought that that was dishonest, you know, because if it was him, he would have just deleted it, right? Or I don't know if he would necessarily delete it, but he wouldn't have done that, right? He wouldn't have admitted that he was wrong in that way.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. My copy was missing the things that was obvious. It was logical to assume that the section that had the words introduction written on it were the introduction that was being referenced by the title of the book. So and you just go, oh no, turns out that was wrong. It was a simple mistake. But then he kept going on about how I couldn't even read a citation, and you go, well, that's got nothing to do with anything. I read the citation, and his citation was wrong because it said the wrong book. And then I went and found the book, and I correctly read the book, and I correctly read the page. So yeah, I absolutely did follow the citation. It just so happens that the copy of the book was missing the section of interest.
And
yeah,
even now, he hasn't really admitted that, you know, he got it wrong.
no, he never will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like theists expect us to have a full understanding of bloody psychology, philosophy, biology, astronomy, all that sort of bullshit. And you can only keep so much in your head for recall. So you're going to make mistakes all the time, but at least, you know, oh shit, got it wrong. Or misread something. No, sorry, got the wrong end of the stick there. But I haven't seen any theist ever since I joined AXP do that. Admit fault.
No, we see that with Ed as well,
yeah.
because he demanded that that if we make any claim, we have to back it up with citations. And then when you tell him, well, you've made a claim about alpha bonds, back it up with citation. Oh, I don't need to.
Yeah. Draw it on the board. You know, come up to the blackboard and put that up. It's yeah, this fundamental block that they have. They can't admit that they made a mistake. They might have been following the science that, you know, 30 years ago said this, but it's moved on since then. They refuse to, change just scares the shit out of them. And it's sad. But yeah, I don't know what it must be something to do with the religious mindset, especially with across the Abrahamic religions. They've got God is everything. God tells you the way it is, and therefore you don't have to learn anything more. A fear of knowledge, maybe. That's about it. Yeah. They're just scared, frightened. It's like when Donkey and Edith were going on about gays and transvestites being, or transgender people being mentally ill. And they kept quoting from, what do they call it, the psychiatry, DOS or something, where they categorize
DMS.
illness. Yeah, DMS. They were reading a copy that was like 20, 30 years out of date.
You mean DSM, the Diagnostic
Oh,
and
DSM.
Statistical
Yeah, you're
Manual?
right.
Yeah, DSM.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're reading from a superseded fucking, you're driving last century's car. It's get with the times, things move. yes, it's confusing and yes, you feel like a bit of a dick when you realise, oh Christ, I was completely wrong about that.
Well, the version 3 supports what, their point of view, so they don't want to move off of it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They're essentially quote mining, just going and looking through whatever they can find to find a thing that supports what they want, regardless of the fact that it's no longer the consensus from the experts.
I just think that's a really sad way to live your life in the past. Yeah, it's a perfect example. To use Australia again, when Lugh came up with the dingo information, that there are purebred dingoes on the mainland. That was, that blew my mind a little bit, but go and have a look at the research. Bang, yes, they are correct. It's rather strange that they don't want to advance forward. They just want to stay the same or actually turn the time back. They want to time travel back to, 1950s. That's so sad to me.
I mean, that's the whole Trump make America great again. They want to go back to a period of time where they could be racist and bigoted and homophobic and all that, and have that be the norm.
Yeah, it's this. It's a bizarre sort of a mindset when someone says you can't be mean to another person, that's being mean to you. You're just going. Essentially, I think this is the mindset of these are kids who are bullies at school. They want to be allowed to be a bully, and taking away their right to bully is an attack on them. You go, it's time to get out of school, kids.
The other thing, completely lost. I'll pass. Microphone back.
So, by the way, just I've been referring to Monkey as the monkey boy, and he's been trying to make that kind of seem racist, or wants to say that it's racist. So when I say the monkey boy, I'm actually referring to Buckaroo Banzai in the it's like 20th Dimension or something. I can't remember the exact title. And you remember that movie? It has
Yes.
John Lithgow in it.
Yeah, I remember it, and I can't remember the correct name, but yeah, I got the character.
Yeah, so
right.
so that's what I was referring to. So I did find a video. Hold on a second. Hopefully this will work.
Laugh for while you can, monkey boy.
So that's what I was referring to, and I'll have to use the correct quote. Laugh a while you can, monkey boy.
The problem with Donkey's argument there is that he's not a person of coloured skin.
Yeah, not that we know.
Well, if he was, he would definitely have made sure that we were aware of that. Yeah, you can guarantee he's a white guy.
Yeah, I know.
So, calling a white guy a monkey doesn't have racist connotations to it.
Well,
yeah.
If it did, every evolutionary denier would be guilty of racism, because they always call us monkey men. I'm not related. My uncle wasn't a monkey, sort of bullshit. Your relatives are monkeys. So it's a bit hypocritical there.
Sad story from them. Both of their parents are monkeys.
Yeah.
And before anyone says it, apes are monkeys.
Well, it
Yeah,
depends
well,
on how far you go up on the
No.
taxonomy. But
It doesn't matter how you do it, because apes are more closely related to Old World monkeys than Old World monkeys are related to New World monkeys, which means the common ancestor. So if you want a group that includes Old World monkeys and New World monkeys, you also include apes.
I thought the primates split from both the Old World and the New World monkeys.
Yeah, no, the apes and New Worlds, apes and Old World monkeys are more closely related than they are to the New World monkeys. So,
Okay. So they
yeah,
are still in the order primates.
yes,
yes.
we're all primates, and we have a common ancestor who was a primate that was a monkey. So, yes, apes are monkeys.
As far as we can tell at the moment.
Yes, from the best info we have currently, and we have some pretty good info because we have very good DNA testing of apes and monkeys.
The thing about the feral cats in Australia becoming their own subspecies is that's the thing I forgot I was going to bring up is things change, and we're seeing it in our lifetime. Dingoes, purebred dingoes do exist on mainland Australia. Feral cats in Australia, they're doing studies and paid money to, people with PhDs to go out and see if this is happening. Because I don't know about you, but I don't want to see a 15 kilo or run into a 15 kilo cat that's over a metre long, nose to tail. That scares the fuck out of me. Things change, and they change within your lifetime, so move with it. He who can't work computers properly or refuses to use a touchscreen. All right.
This is the if you're interested, this is the primate tree of life of interest. So the group Anthropoides split into the American monkeys, the Platyrini, and the Afro-Eurasian primates, which include the apes and the Afro-Eurasian monkeys. So yes, the split occurred. The American monkeys split before the into the Platyrini and the Catarini, of which the apes and the New World monkeys are the Old World monkeys are a member. So there you go.
Does it mention orangutans? Because from memory,
Orangutans are in the great apes.
No, I thought they were just below. They didn't make the classification as
Well,
great apes.
They split out from the hominoid day.
Yeah. I seem to getting that they were apes, but they didn't quite make the great apes classification because of something, and I think that's been changed now. Don't know. Have to look it up. But yeah, we just proved things change. Move with it. But no, got to keep the science back to the 1950s.
By the way, do you guys have the option to present things onto the stream?
Where would we find that?
At the
No,
bottom,
I can't see anything like that.
Oh,
okay. There's
hang on.
nothing about
Sorry.
present.
There's a button that says present. You're right.
Yeah,
okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I just saw that, and it also says present. So maybe you're right there.
Wait, what? Do you have an option to present something?
Yeah.
Can you try it?
Not myself.
I'll give it a go.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay.
So, share screen. Sharing, please use is not supported. Oh, sorry, it's not supported on my device. I'm on a tablet, so
okay. Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Yeah,
But
it looks like I have share screen, video file, and slides.
okay. Can you try like sharing your screen or some? You should be able to share like one of your browsers.
Okay, give me a sec. I'll
Okay.
get some technical help.
The other thing. Oh wait, your browser has blocked your screen. Click the screen icon in your address bar. Oh, this I'm not sure. So the other thing with Monkey is like the reason or the way we got to Monkey is because of his handle, right? Damon Kenny, the monkey. So that's another reason why we aren't being racist by referring to him as the monkey. So the final thing that I did want to get to, as kind of a follow-up to this, the two of these guys, Ed and the monkey, just not being able to emit any errors, is that they have been in a lot of cases kind of abusive in the comments that they make, and I just want to let everyone know that at least for comments where there's no other content except abuse, I have been deleting those. And for any of you guys who are moderators, you guys can go ahead and delete those comments as well. If all it is just an insult, it doesn't need to be there. So go ahead and do that. But I wanted to kind of talk about whether even to let these guys continue to post these things, because at this point, it's kind of getting boring. At least to me, I don't think they are adding anything. They're, kind of saying the same thing. And
no, it's the same thing over and over and over and over and over, with added insults.
Yeah. So it's just kind of, I mean, okay, great. It adds a bunch of comments to these videos. I don't know if that even, kind of benefits the channel in any way, really. But it does. I think it is kind of, I don't know, distracting for them to make the same comments over and over, not add anything, and also not really respond to the responses. If we say something, they don't really respond to it. If we say, well, why don't you show that there some kind of link where someone is referring to a peptide bond as an alpha bond? There's no responses to those, so there's no kind of nothing constructive back from them. So the question is, I think I've mentioned before, I don't want to block these guys, and I definitely don't want to have their previous comments removed, because I think there is some kind of a utility to sort of demonstrating how horrible these guys are. So I don't want to, completely remove them, but I'm almost tempted to. So I'm not sure what you guys think about that.
Yeah, I'm certainly getting sick of the spinning the wheels of the same, just repeating the same shit over and over and over. But yes, that was part of the email I sent to you about wanting to talk about that, whether it's time to just say enough's enough.
Yeah, you give them like 1 or 2 videos to say their rebuttal or whatever in the comments, but just coming in with just the same dribble that we're getting on the AXP comments or the Lines comments. It's not another platform. Well, don't know, but I don't see what you've done here, Q, as a platform to allow them another place to troll. If that makes sense.
Yeah, as I was talking through this, one thing we could do is basically not respond to any of those comments, And one thing I could do is if anyone kind of responds by accident or not knowing about this, we could just delete those so that it doesn't kind of continue to create, their same response over and over. So basically kind of shut them off, kind of remove the oxygen, right, from their comments.
Yeah, that's a good idea. But I mean, what I like most about what you've managed to do here is we're not constantly being abused, and we can actually say no, fuck off. We don't have to put up with hate speech or bullying or anything like that. And I suppose if you want to use today's terminology, a safe place, a welcoming place. I mean, you look at the people you've had on in the past, Jesse, that strange guy who was talking about the death penalty, even Florida, Diva now. We've given them a platform to come and try and talk, and most of them have been really, it's not hate, it's not, there's no bullying. We just have a conversation. And there are people who just don't know how to have a conversation. But yeah, trying to get rid of the trolls. Yeah. I think we have to think a bit more about this, because I don't want to be accused or have anyone accuse you, QC, of censorship or stifling bloody free speech.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
why removing some of those like Diva's comments, I'm okay with it, because he's not saying anything in those. It's just like the same thing over and over. So I don't think we're stifling his free speech. We're stifling his ability to just continue to spam.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw some of the comments that he made in the latest AXP video, where he's kind of posting the same spam about, hey, go watch this video where I showed evidence or the miracle of God. And
Oh,
he's
yeah.
probably posting links, but that channel doesn't allow links, so there's nothing there, but he keeps on posting it. It's funny.
Yeah, I did this. As far as I'm concerned, shouldn't be another platform for them to troll on.
Yeah.
They can come on and speak. I mean, you saw what happened with Donkey. He just ran away.
Yeah. When he knew that he couldn't keep just like, posting just insults one after the other, he
Yeah.
wasn't interested. Because he wasn't interested in actually having a conversation.
Does anyone know? Because he came to Australia with his parents, from memory. So I wonder where they came from. Does anyone remember anything or recall?
No.
No, I got nothing there.
Yeah. Be nice to be able to put a voice to it, but such is life.
So one thing that kind of makes me think that he might be an Aussie, or at least within that time zone, is because the times that he's active does seem to match you guys.
Yeah, and the language he uses, mainly with the spelling, is more Commonwealth spelling than American spelling. But yeah, it's just funny that he thinks anyone born in the 60s is, a living fossil.
I think he, I mean, that's another one. I think he was just trying to be kind of abusive to say that, you know, you're going to die soon kind of thing. I think that's what it's
yeah,
getting
I
at.
mean, I felt like removing that comment, but I'll leave that there because, yeah, that just shows the moral bankruptcy of them, you know.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But the troll, I think we all know what trolling comments are, especially with our regulars. Yeah, maybe anything relating to the topic of the video, leave on. Anything not, put aside, remove. Not sure how to work it.
Hmm. Oh, by the way, this. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, is Tuna still there, or has he fallen asleep?
I don't know.
All right, I'm off. Talk again.
Sorry, I'm here.
Oh, good day, mate.
Hiding in the bushes.
What's your view of to deal with trolls?
They're entertainment. These guys, Damonkey, Apot, Jamedith. I don't take them seriously. I just like to make fun of them, pretty much.
Yeah, the idea of I got no problem with censorship or curtailing someone's right to speak anything. That should, as a society, if you act like a dick, then society should turn their back on you until you start to not be a dick. Yeah, I have no problem with censorship, age-appropriate censorship, or you know, you don't sunbathe naked on a beach where there are a lot of kids. You know, you don't go to a library wearing a bikini or a speedo. Yeah, there are just certain standards that or things that you don't do. I can't imagine anyone going to church in a bikini or a speedo. Yeah.
So I think we're agreed in terms of just kind of removing the oxygen from these guys so that, you know, if anyone responds to them, you know, go ahead and delete them, and I'll delete them, but as well. But to answer Miranda's question, if any of the moderators delete those comments, they stay, and I can go and see what comments were moderated. But when I delete it, it looks like they go away right away. So they don't go into like held for review thing. But anyone else, it goes into a place where, you know, I can look at all the comments that were held for review. Let me see.
100%. Yep. Back you on that one. And
Yes,
Miranda, well said about the free speech. Cool.
Yeah. So oh, sorry. Oh no, I need to go in here. So this is basically the studio. I can go to the comments and it shows a published one. So I can look at the ones that are held for review. So these are ones that were, so some of these, they're held because it has blocked words. There's some kind of abusive words that will, you know, catch these. And most of Ed's comments that don't show up, it's because he's used some blocked words. But if any of the comments are moderated, like Diva's comments, it says it's removed by moderator. So I can go and unremove it, or I can delete it forever, or just leave it the way it is, or I can completely hide the user from the channel, at which point, you know, all of Diva's comments go away and Diva can't post any comments on this channel. So that's how it
That is
works.
a little bit annoying.
I could go blunt.
Yeah, just saying it's a little bit annoying because what would be great is if you could pause their ability to access going forward as opposed to delete everything going backwards.
Yep. Yep.
But no, that's not an option.
Yeah. So that, I mean, I first ran across this when Ed was getting blocked from a channel called The Underlings, because he was just like so abusive there. Eventually, Underlings, the channel owner, basically decided to remove him, hide him, and
Oh,
when he did that, all his previous comments disappeared.
do you know the reason he gave for his behaviour, Ed? That he's abusive and all that behaviour? It's the squeaky wheel gets the oil or something like that. You have to say something outrageous to get a response, which to me just means you're a rage baiting twat.
Yeah.
That's the same argument that the vice presidential nominee, or the Republican vice presidential candidate, used for why he was lying about people eating cats and dogs. Yeah, he goes, basically admitted he knew it's a lie, but what it was important is now people are talking about the problem. And you go, but you could have talked about the problem without risking people's lives to do it.
Yeah. Yep. And Ed's been blocked, I think, from a lot of channels. I know at least one other channel, like the Dapper Dinosaur. But I think it's mostly, like evolution type of channels where he gets blocked. I'll bet he's blocked from Aaron Ross' channel as well.
Oh yeah, he's got one of his profile names is Aaron blocked me or something.
Yeah.
From memory.
It's just that I don't always believe him when he says that someone blocked him, because he said I had blocked him as well, and I obviously had not.
Yeah.
So.
Crazy. Yeah, it's a shame you can't actually like leave the comments and remove, I suppose. You can
No
only work
one
with the tools you
deleted
got.
Jason Katz's comment, right?
No.
Yeah, I
No.
don't see anyone deleted it. So
Hang on.
I don't know what Jason said, but I
Repost
definitely
it,
didn't see
Jason.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, is this the one? Monkey suffers from main character syndrome? No, that's not it, right? About Chris Massey. I don't know. So, yeah, and no, I don't think anyone's deleted it. But I think even on the live chats, there is kind of a YouTube filter as well. So it may have caught that as well. And if YouTube filters it, I don't see it. Like even like I think Blarg, you said you had comments that got filtered. It doesn't show up on my console. So
Well, they were ghosted more so than filtered. So they still exist, but they're only visible when viewed newest first.
oh, by the way, for a while I couldn't post any comments anywhere except my own channel. So I think one of these guys, or using their multiple different notes, probably like reported me or something.
Yeah, Blarg and I have had that happen more than once. Yeah, if you get enough reports, they actually red flag any comment. The Autobot goes through and red flags your thing, and yeah, sometimes you can make comments, within 24 hours or 2 days or whatever, and sometimes you just have to make a new profile.
Mine went even further. I got an instant
Bang.
termination of the account without warning. So there were no strikes. It was just an instant termination. You just go, holy shit, what happened? So it did give me an option of appealing. And that is exactly what had happened. Weirdly, it was an atheist troll. who had at least a dozen accounts of their own. This was Dumpster Fire / iDerision were a couple of his accounts. And I assume he logged all of his accounts on and then accused me of something, you know, something to do with cheese pizza, if you get my drift.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I assume that's what happened because I got an instant ban. So all of my posts from everything I'd ever written disappeared along with my account. But 24 hours later, my account was back, and the day after that, all of my comments were back. And all of the accounts that they had that I was aware of all disappeared. So cop that, you mob of bitches.
Yeah, I mean, you think of people like Neppy, who can go and, like, if they get 100 complaints, because you've got to have at least 100 profiles. They get 100 complaints, multiple complaints. Well, however the YouTube Autobot works will flag your comments and you're fucked. I just don't understand why if you report someone for like Damon has done and several others, of you being a kiddie fiddler, a pedophile, or grooming. I don't understand why YouTube won't remove those posts or stop that profile from doing so. It's just one of those. Yeah, I've even asked for clarification from YouTube and silence. No one's bothered about it. So, yeah, it's one rule for the. Someone said or mentioned end of last year that YouTube has a thing about religion. They won't censor, obviously, religious people from their views, like, gays should be stoned, that sort of thing. Or the people who just post the same bullshit over and over again, like Libby and that Richard Young twit. They can spam all they want because it's part of their religion, trying to convert people. It just seems strange, the double standard that YouTube has. And that's just me having a whinge. What did Fern say? Yeah. No, fuck works on the on the live chat. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think one of the threads that Fern had started, Monkey just got on it and just like kept on going on it. So I can see why Fern may have responded that way. By the way, with Apot, I mean, he has this like strange obsession with bestiality for some reason. He constantly brings it up.
Oh, he's got a very strange fetish for a lot of, not the kink chain, but anything to do with the rectum as well. It's really, I don't
The old saying that every claim is an admission, or every accusation is an admission.
Yeah, it's. I think it was. No, the bestiality thing just came out. I'm trying to remember why he suddenly developed that fetish.
Yeah, I think when it's talking, I think he's like trying to say that it's a slippery slope thing. I mean, it's something
that's the standard argument.
Oh, yeah. I know it. Because
first you allow gay people to marry, and then they're marrying their pets, and then they're marrying children, and that's the slippery slope.
Yeah, it's the thing of I feel that you can't have morals unless you're religious.
Yeah, what Steve keeps on saying.
Came through. Yeah.
The irony of that slippery slope, though, is that religious people are fighting quite hard to keep the ability of old men to marry little girls. And you just go, no one's talking about a slippery slope there, are they?
Has anyone watched the that Jimmy's new show? Well, not new. It's been around for a little bit. The chewed gum.
I haven't seen that very often. I've seen like one or two.
It's actually rather interesting because they delve into patriarchy and misogyny and purity culture.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the reason why I don't watch it is because it's hosted by a couple of chicks. That's the only reason.
I will admit, I get a little. I actually said to She, must be a babe, the other day. I like this show, but I have a strange urge to clip both of them, both posts around the ear, and say, "Stop it! Literally is not an adjective."
Oh, that, yeah. I unfortunately I do that as well, so
yeah.
I don't feel too bad about that.
No,
But yeah, I was just in case anyone gets confused, I was completely joking when I said that I don't watch it because it's a couple of chicks.
But, yeah, I think yeah, that's just me being an old fart. It's like when people say "you guysers," I have an irresistible urge to clip them over the back of the head. I mean,
so if I wasn't so aware of how often I say literally, I would literally be saying it every single time. So,
and I must admit, it's drifted into my vocabulary too, which is weird. But no, it is a really good show to learn about from a female's point of view how religion affects people. Yeah, a good show to watch. You just have to sort of, get over the millennial speak, if you will.
okay, I hope I don't get like copyright
you're
struck
fine.
on this. Oh no, for this. But if anyone's watched Parks and Rec,
literally is the most moving thing I've ever heard. Literally. Pawnee is literally the greatest town in the country. Literally. There's literally nothing in this world that you cannot do. Literally filled with muses. Literally.
So anyway, if you guys haven't watched Parks and Rec, I mean it's no longer on the air, but you guys should watch it. It's hilarious. Not just for that literally thing, but it's just funny.
I've got a recommendation for a fun one as well. A channel called Hysteria. It's two women, and they have essentially a podcast where they quite often talk about this fucking guy, and they'll do a deep dive into a particular person. It's not always a guy, but it quite often is. But it's fun to get a detailed backstory. So they did this fucking guy about Clarence Thomas, for example.
Oh, wow.
And talk about his weird porn addiction and history of how he ended up where he is.
And the question is, how many episodes have they had on Donald Trump?
Actually, I don't know that I've watched one for Donald Trump.
Okay.
From them, but they got plenty of assorted people. They definitely talk about the Trump's VP nominee. So
okay. So here's the different ones that they have. So you can see how many times that Donald Trump comes up here. I think it's quite a few.
One of the girls, I think she is a guest host on Chewed Gum. I seem to remember something like that. But yeah, anyway, it's because I don't follow trends at all and virtually don't follow anything of no particular interest to me. Chewed Gum was a great way to learn about how women view religion. And I have to say, they've got it a lot harder than men. I really can't see why anyone would be, any woman would be especially a Christian. It's insane. Or Muslim. It's weird. Jewish, not so much. I don't really worry about them, even though they are very misogynistic, but, you know, strange. Oh,
Well, so I was actually afraid when I started today's stream that we wouldn't have as much to talk about because I just hadn't prepared as much. But we went quite long, and we're actually at hour and 45-minute mark. So we will wrap it up here. I'll give Wook the last word because I think you were about to say something.
yeah, I'll with like pasting things into the stage here. It looks like I've got to go and download stuff. So
Okay.
I'll have that prepared by next week, and we'll see if it
Cool.
works.
All right. That sounds good. Well, okay. Thank you, everyone, for you regulars for coming on, and you regulars in the live stream for coming on. By the way, for some reason, I got like a whole bunch of not a huge, but I like my subscriber number went up to 125 when it was like at 110 before. So I guess talking and making fun of Monkey and Ed really did, I guess, bring some people in. I'm not sure how much of it is due to them, but it was just kind of funny. But anyway, thank you again, and I hope to see everyone back here next week, and I will see everyone in the comments.